Russian temporary representative in Poland, Andrei Ordash, he said that Russia has no intention of providing any explanation regarding the possible passage of its missiles through Polish airspace, and that Russia demands additional clarification from the Polish side. As expected, the Russian diplomat, after being summoned to the Polish Ministry of Foreign Affairs, he openly mocked the country he is stationed in. And he emphasized that Russia will not provide any explanation. And until there is a concrete evidence that there was a trespass of Russian missile into Polish airspace, Russia considers this accusation completely groundless. And de facto, nothing different is expected from the representative of the Russian Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Russians have always behaved this way, and they will continue to do so. Because let's recall the history of shooting down the Malaysian passenger Boeing by Russian military. At that time, when the plane was shot down, the Russian side, they put forward a large number of completely implausible versions unrelated to reality, and they never acknowledge responsibility for the death of innocent civilians, the passengers of that plane. That same pattern seems to be repeating now. They are putting forward one version after another, one statement after another, and all aimed at confusing the situation. And of course, they already say that it was not a Russian, but a Ukrainian missile. Yeah? After the representative of the Russian Federation in the United Nations, Vasily Nebenza, he said that when he said that Ukrainian citizens are being killed by the Ukrainian air defense system, not Russian missiles and drones. So it is hard for his colleagues from the Lavrov's Ministry of Lies to one-up him on the level of this cynicism. Also, I would like to speak about one more aspect of this situation, because the Russian Federation and its representatives, they are absolutely delighted in the situation, that they can lie with complete impunity. So, because Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs of Poland, Władysław Teofil Bartoszewski, after the meeting with Ordash, he noted that in future Warsaw will react more firmly to further provocations violating the airspace of Republic of Poland. And this violation, according to Bartoszewski, it is a test of the Polish effectiveness and the Polish approach to defense. But it is important to understand what they mean by react more firmly. This is a very crucial point. So what they say, what it is to react more firmly. They said that if their country encounters a Russian missile in its airspace again, it will shoot it down over Polish territory. But is there anything extraordinary about it? It seemed logical that if a Russian missile entered Polish airspace, it should have been shot down if Poland's air defense had such opportunity. And the situation where a Russian missile appears in the airspace of Poland and the air defense of this country just simply waits for the missile to return to Ukrainian airspace, so that it is then will be Ukrainian problem, and the Ukrainians have to shoot down it there. So it is not a significant problem for the Russian Federation either way, I think, if they shoot down in Poland or shoot down in Ukraine. Russian leadership and diplomats, they behave this way just because they are confident that there will be no real actions taken against their provocations towards not NATO countries. Both in Washington, in Brussels, and Warsaw, they are primarily concerned with avoiding a direct conflict between NATO and the Russian Federation and preventing a clash of nuclear potential. So, since Moscow understands that they can rely on the fear of Western leaders of a possible nuclear conflict, they will continue various provocations against the civilized world until they find some red line. It is like, for example, a person would like to find out how deep is the water, and he enters the water and goes further, and he can go quite far until he found that he cannot feel the land beneath. But he can go quite far, even if doesn't want to swim, actually. So it is the essence of the current relations between Russia and the civilized world. Russian diplomats, if they can be even called diplomats at all, they blatantly lie to their Western counterparts and openly laugh at them during press conferences. And Western diplomats talk about a possible tough reaction, but they cannot formulate such a reaction that could truly affect the interest of the Russian Federations. With their caution and the desire not to escalate the conflict, they only encourage Vladimir Putin and his circle to create new conflict situations to test what else the West may agree to during Russia's ongoing war against Ukraine. So let's see in the past, because West has already accepted the annexation of our territories, and when it happened in 2014, they just imposed only token sanctions, personal sanctions against some representatives of the Russian elite. Then they agreed to an undeclared war in the Donbass, and they were pretending that it was not Russian proxies, but some incomprehensible separatists that operate in this occupied territory of Ukraine, and with whom they were forcing us to negotiate a special status for that territories. And then, now, West also agreed with Russia's aggression against Ukraine, stating that it should be exclusively Ukraine's war, and the West just can assist Ukraine with money and weapons, and now we have problems even with this. And West does not want to directly intervene in this war. And also the West doesn't want this war to continue on the territory of Russian Federation, affecting the Russian population. And if Ukraine seeks security guarantees and wants to join NATO, for example, then President of the United States Joseph Biden stated in his recent press conference with Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky the condition for Ukraine acceptance into NATO. And what the conditions are? It should beat Russia. The conditions are the victory over Russia, and not the other way around. The entry of Ukraine into NATO, as anyone with developed political logic would think, this should end Russian aggression against Ukraine. So, in such a situation, civilized world should agree that it is just untying Russia's hands for further mockery, ridicule, and new provocations. And ultimately, if the situation continues to unfold in this way, the West will lose in this confrontation with Vladimir Putin, who clearly understands which Western insecurities and concerns he can exploit to the endless extent. And in that case, it will not only be a defeat for Ukraine or a problem for Poland, it could be a fiasco for the entire civilized world. And we would witness it, this fiasco, with silent amazement, because we understand that in reality the military, political and economic potential of the West far exceeds that of Russian Federation, and that the main weapon Russia successfully uses against the West is fear. Thank you for watching. Slava Ukraini, and till next time. Goodbye.